being able to chat every week. It's cool.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
This is Jed MacKay, and you're listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast.
Yes, welcome back, Looney listeners. You are listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 338. And of course, as always, you're with your high priest of Conju, Rebecca. Hello,
Hi.
hello.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, how
Yeah,
you
good.
doing? That was my hey.
Hey, Joey. Joey from Friends. How you doing? Yeah.
How you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, all good. I can't wait again, Rebecca. I mean, we had a slight. Can't remember. We postponed this, right? We did, didn't we?
Yeah, we postponed
Yeah.
it a couple of times.
A couple of times, yeah, of course, because last time we convened, we had a chat with Jed, and yeah, listeners, welcome. We're back. We're finally able to, thankfully, before the next issue's out, we're able to finally cover this one. And so Rebecca and I, this time round, will be doing a Moon Knight Volume 9, Issue 27. So this will be cool. This will be following up from our chat with Jed MacKay. Of course, we are live streaming. This is a brand new issue, albeit maybe a couple of weeks late. So you can find us on all the social media platforms right now. I'm not sure, Rebecca, if X is willing to have us on.
They don't show video. They don't have video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so probably not. But we'll put the link
Probably
up
not.
when we have the link. So
Yeah, okay. Because I've still got the Twitter connected to it, but it's
yeah. I don't think
mm,
I have no idea if Blue Sky does or not. Whatever.
yeah, that
I
would be
don't.
good. That'd be good. We'll have to check that out. Hold the phone, everybody. One of the new things, we are on Blue Sky now as well, so that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. You can catch us there, ITK Moon Knight, as well as Rebecca, of course, Arbitrary Genius, and Ray Pod, and myself. Same
Yes.
handle.
We're same
Keep
handles everywhere. We like people
it.
to find us.
Exactly. And people to find us is similar to all those people. I'm trying to segue all the patroonies and all the sponsors. A big thank you to each and every one of you. Our principal sponsors too, of course. A big thanks, as well as CSZ Comics and Dreamland Comics from Schoenberg, Illinois. Rebecca, before we dive into the very fun comic, we have a lot to unpack here.
So much. And this is not our fault because delays happen. It's just a time where there is like a lot of stuff happened for Moon Knight as well. So we're not going to go into it all in depth. We're going to go into a couple of things in depth. And then as we catch up with the podcasts, we'll keep dropping some of it in. So like, we're trying not to overwhelm people on our return to
exactly.
yeah.
It's a good problem to have, Rebecca. I guess it's almost as if we should like delay stuff because the forces and destiny that is out there seems to drop things whilst we're away. Big
Right?
things. I remember in the past. So
Yeah. Everyone just say take more breaks, and there'll be more
take
like
more
Moon
breaks.
Knight
Yeah.
announcements. You might find out who the new Moon Knight is.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So for our little segment of white noise, I'm gonna shove it up here on the video. First thing we have, Rebecca, you put us onto this, and I know there was a lot of discussion on Discord. Moon Knight is featured in the latest and greatest Avengers Unlimited. It's available on
So he was
Marvel Unlimited.
yeah, so this is only available on Marvel Unlimited, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But you can pick up a test subscription like for nothing pretty much, or very cheap.
Yeah.
Just don't forget to cancel if you only want it for this. So he's right at the end of issue 63. He shows up to help Cap as a something the villain hasn't planned for. And issue 64, you see him helping Cap escape. And in the midst of all of this, interestingly, there's a discussion about what a system is, what alters are,
Mm.
um, how the Avengers aren't upset at him because of Age of Khonshu. They were worried about Khonshu, not about Mark.
Cool.
And I think, let me just like pull it up on Discord quickly because I put the panel up there and it's going to be much faster than me opening it up on Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah, no worries.
So yeah, he talks about a system and talks about alters and people driving. Yeah, and then he goes, I wanted to give you some reassurance that I'm in a healthier place. I know you've been concerned about me since Age of Khonshu. And Cap says, our concern was your relationship with Khonshu, not your dissociative identity disorder.
Okay.
And
That's
then
cool.
towards the end, Jake suggests something they should do to get out of this final kind of trap. And Mark explains, and Cap says, my compliments to Jake. He says you can
Yeah.
thank, and then Mark says he says you can thank him by socking Fixer as hard as you did Hitler. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, I think you'll see us discussing it. I mean, you'll see discussion about it on the Facebook page as
Mhm.
well. It's not just been limited to Discord. Mario put in a link so you can see the panels on Tumblr, where somebody's
Right,
posted
yes.
most of the comic, I think. Whereas I just posted like the highlights to me.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think as Lena Doug pointed out,
Mhm.
they it comes across a little bit like a public service announcement on DID, but
Oh, okay.
it's not, it's still kind of nice to see, that
Yeah.
in something that is their most accessible, because Marvel Unlimited's, I think, $6-7 a month, $6 a month,
Mhm.
$10 a month maybe, but you can get it for quite regularly for offers where it's only 5 for the first year. So I think it's
Mhm.
$10 a month. But even like, you think you can pay $10 for 1 or 2 comics. So I would say this is like one of the more accessible ways of reading
Okay.
comics these days. And
Yeah.
it's kind of nice that they've done it. I mean, it's nice to see him teamed up with Cap. It's nice to see them
Yeah.
referencing Age of Khonshu. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, the speech style may not be like super casual, but I don't think they got anything wrong. I mean, like Lena did point out a couple of things um about when he talks about integration, and that's not
Oh,
necessarily
yeah.
like
Mhm.
terminology you'd currently use, but you can read it like you can read it in a better way than being offensive. But still, I think
Mhm.
just getting the words dissociative identity disorder, alters, um, system, and the idea of an alter driving. I know that's not the word that all systems use, but like it's just helping normalize it, especially as Moon Knight's got such a elevated interest level at the moment.
Mhm.
So yeah, I thought it was quite nice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all these Avengers things are just like these little tiny arcs where you just throw in some characters from the Avengers, and
Yeah.
whoever's writing
Yeah.
it does whatever they want. There was a very nice Steve and Tony one recently. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, admittedly, I've not really dipped my toe into it, although I do have Marvel Unlimited, and I only
I
knew
think one of
about it
them.
from the things
I
that
think
you've
there's a
said.
Spider Woman one. I think
Oh,
there's a
okay.
Spider Woman
Oh
arc.
gosh. Yeah.
Uh, you just have to be on top of it because I don't read it every week. I tend to read all the ones that are for kids. Like, I mean, they're not just for
Okay.
kids; they're for everyone, clearly.
But there's
But
there's lots of
Alligator Loki and Marvel
yeah.
Meow, and like,
th-
I have a lot of fun with those. So
There's lots of I mean, this is issue 64, so
yeah,
and
yeah,
and what I've seen in my research is that it's volume 2, like, that
yeah.
there's another 64 volume 1, which has had Gambit and Rogue,
Yeah,
just
it's really
incidentally as I
nice.
was
It's
looking it
just
up,
like
yeah.
these
Yeah.
2-3 issue, and they come out on Tuesdays, which is a little bit confusing
Okay.
because used to all the comics coming out on Wednesday, Marvel comics
Yeah.
coming out on Wednesday, and all of a sudden Twitter will be talking about something about like one of your favorite characters, like say with this Moon Knight one,
Mm.
and you'll just be a bit unsettled with like, isn't it Tuesday? And it's like, oh, it's because the Infinity Comics, which is what this series of online only, and there's an X-Men one, and there's
Yeah,
lots
wow.
of different ones, and they're just very easy. They're just all done for digital, so they're vertical
Yeah,
scrolling, kind of
yeah,
easy reads, really.
yeah.
So
How's
yeah,
he? I
nice
mean,
to see Moon Knight.
how's the art? I mean, I've seen some of the things, like the ones that you posted on Discord. I mean,
Yeah,
they seem quite
it's up and
stylized, and
down. Like it's
yeah.
up and down.
Okay.
Like some of it's better than others.
Okay.
You, um, because each time you'll have a different team doing it. But I think it's kind of
Yeah.
nice to see lots of people get, and if you hate it, it's only going to be like a couple of weeks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I really like it. I honestly think that if something had to sell me on Marvel Unlimited, it would actually, we all kind of joked about them at first, but I think
Hmm.
it kind of does make it a interesting service because I can go back and read. It is great to be able to go back and read any issue of comics that I want that's on there,
Mm.
and to be able to
Oh,
request them to add
absolutely.
comics. That's all
Yeah.
great, but that
Yeah.
takes up more of my time. If I'm thinking about like week by week,
Yeah.
I'm more like to go in, read all the Infinity comics, and then
Oh,
any of the
okay.
new ones that have been added because my time's less now. If I then
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
to go on a big like, oh, let's go reread Civil War,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, with all the tie-ins, then obviously that's available too. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's not the only good
Yeah.
thing that's good for it, but it's something that um is additive to my buying paper comics, I
Yeah.
guess.
I guess
You know.
people use it in their different way. I mean, that's a good way as
Yeah.
well. And having this regular unlimited comic is a nice kind of routine that you can do. I mean, I use unlimited for just finding back issues and events that you're
Yeah.
saying, Rebecca, which is cool. But yeah, I mean, most of my time's taken with the current comics because there's just so many that I'm kind of
Yeah, right
wanting to
now we're
get.
kind of we're ODing a bit on current
Yeah,
comics.
yeah, exactly.
I'd
But
like to
for
say
Moon,
it won't always be this way, but I kind of hope it
no.
always is this way for Moon Knight. At least that they're
Yeah,
good. So
absolutely. Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. So Loonies, just if you do have Marvel Unlimited or you want to test it out, go check out Avengers Unlimited as well. 64 it is, with Moon Knight and
yeah,
Cap, and it's always good to see both of them together. So,
it's
that's
great to
that's
see.
fun.
Yeah, because it's not
Yeah,
necessarily. I don't know. It's just nice, and I really like that they got in the Age of Khonshu mention.
yeah, and just the not being a lot more aware about DID is really good. Of course, like the Moon Knight show and exposure has probably done that as well, and Jed's run, but it's good to see that it's carried through to these.
It's good to see that as writers or as creators are getting
Mm.
the offer of the character and stuff that's part of what they want to write about him.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, yeah, go check it out. That's one of the things that we're going to look at for this news. Rebecca, there's another thing in the notes here. Were we going to just
Yeah.
briefly talk about? Yep.
Strange Academy Moon Knight came out this past
Yes.
week. We're
Mm-hmm.
gonna save that for another podcast.
Yes.
Because it's the kind of thing that I think will slot in anywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
we have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of other stuff to talk about. So
We've,
we are aware, everyone.
yes, we
Um,
are aware
if
it's
you're
there.
not aware, then
Yeah.
you've got a little bit of time to go get it and
Yes.
give us your thoughts on it because I read it. I don't think Ray has yet.
No, not yet. I did,
That's
although I
not why
did
we're
pick up my
that's
stuff.
not why we're delaying it. We're delaying it
No.
because we have too much bigger news. So
Big, exactly,
bigger news.
exactly. And speaking of which, we got solicits for December, and so Moon Knight 30, the solicit came out as well, and a glorious cover there for sure. Mark Moon Knight slumped. The night is dead. So yeah, this is for all intents, Rebecca, the last Moon Knight issue. Jed MacKay, Alessandro Cappuccio. There's a slew of variant covers as well,
So
and
many.
there's so many. When we get up to issue 30 to cover it, we'll go through it. I guess we'll show
Yeah.
the covers.
But go pick which one you like once they're
Oh yeah,
online. I think I'm gonna get
yeah.
Capuccio because, come on.
Cappuccio, definitely. I'm definitely
I
getting
have
Cappuccio.
loyalty and it has 8 ball on it. So.
Yeah. But there's some greats as well. I'm not gonna go through all of them, but Greg Capullo, Peach Momoko, Scotty Young. So there's
I
a
mean, I
whole
usually buy all the Scotty Young Moon Knights,
yeah.
so yeah, that's
What do you
tempting
reckon,
as
Rebecca?
well. So
Second
yeah,
second copy there, yeah.
maybe.
um,
Although I'm a little bit, I have to be. Look, I understand why they're doing it, but I think
mm,
hitting us with all the variants for 25, then all the Night's End variants, then all the variants
yeah,
for 30, then all the variants for number one. I mean,
yeah.
they're gambling on me having a lot more disposable income than I have, so I'm going to be quite tight about
Yeah.
it, and I
Yeah.
apologize. And
No, not at
but
all.
the nice thing about having so many is there's really something for everyone. Like you will find the cover you
Exactly.
like, and I think that's
Exactly.
more important than how many covers you buy. Is that you get one that
Exactly.
you really like. So
And the point is what's in the middle as well, what's inside.
well, but
Um,
I think we believe that will be a similar quality as we've had in the previous
Absolutely.
29 issues. So
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
that's less of a concern for me. Although, it is
Mm.
hard to tie up, and we've talked before about
And
nervousness about Mark dying. Obviously, that was
yeah,
before the knowledge that we'd get vengeance of.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so
It's always interesting that the final or the last couple of issues of a run because you kind of see if the writer sticks the landing, and it's kind of almost as there's almost as much anticipation as a first issue, I feel, because
I feel, yeah,
it
definitely.
could make or break. It could really make
I
or
mean,
break
this
a
is going to
series.
end your omnibus. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mm,
that's the so it is a huge deal, and like I think as you've heard us say for the last couple of issues, possibly for
yeah.
this issue as well, this is all part of this story that's building up now. So like this doesn't feel as standalone as it once did, perhaps.
Mm. Oh,
So
no,
this
absolutely.
has got so all of these issues have got a lot riding on that final issue.
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
kind of what I'm saying there.
I'm just thinking in my head again of what Jed was saying when we spoke to him about,
Yeah,
some of the thoughts on his previous issues. It's all culminating to this as well.
yeah.
Um, So yeah, the synopsis reads as the terminal seconds of Moon Knight Knights and the Battle of the Mount reaches an explosive conclusion, and all that stands in the way of Black Spectre's scheme of annihilation is Moon Knight. But can Moon Knight triumph against the odds arrayed against him, or will the Mount stand as his tombstone? With all hope of resurrection gone, Moon Knight's life hangs on the line along with Manhattan, because we know, we'll get to it actually, that it's revealed in this
Yeah,
issue that we're going to cover
yeah.
about the grand
But I
plan.
mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, we knew what
Mm.
the situation was with Khonshu. There's no more resurrections in him as things
Mhm.
stand.
That's right.
So, inevitably there was going to be one of them needing a resurrection, and
Mhm.
yeah.
And Hunter's Men had one already, and actually,
Yeah,
granted, so
he
did Moon
got the
Knight.
bust
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Mark
he
got a
did.
good one though. The
Yeah,
moon
he did.
Nanda's moon got bust one.
Yeah,
Um so yeah,
yeah.
so
So, well, we'll have to.
exciting.
Very exciting, and that of course we've alluded to it, and if you haven't heard already, then you haven't seen our social media platforms. But the biggie, Rebecca, is that we have an announcement here. Marvel announced, when was it? Do I have the date? I don't have it here, but they announced Moon Knight's transformative
15th of
adventure,
September.
15th of September, and they Moon Knight's transformative adventure continues in Vengeance of the Moon Knight. So this was big news, Rebecca. We're
Yeah.
getting Yes, we're getting a continuation of sorts.
Yeah, I mean, huge
Mm,
news. I think what none of
mm,
us, I mean, we all expected it to come back. We didn't know how long a break there'd be. We
yeah.
certainly, I don't think many people bet on it being the same creative team.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to ask, did you? I was not expecting it. We were already talking about other
No, I was
writers.
absolutely, I mean, you've
Mm,
heard me talk about it over previous
yeah.
months about whether Jed now feels he's said everything he has to say about
Mm,
Moon Knight.
yeah.
I actually forgot about the resurrection thing
Yeah.
and freeing Khonshu and potentially freeing Khonshu. Um, so I'm delighted, but that seems to me also the sort of thing you could pass on to another writer. And I
Mhm.
just thought maybe because we've had Erica, we've had David doing some
Yes.
Moon Knight, maybe they're kind of testing the waters a bit. But
Mhm, mhm.
I'm beyond delighted.
Yeah, me
So
too. And
yeah.
again, I just can't help but think
I
of
think you could
Jed,
feel the joy in the whole Moon Knight community. Like,
yeah, yeah,
you know,
absolutely. And no better, evocative. I think this is a David Finch cover. I'm not too sure, but just some of the images that we did get, and uh, here's the design, a very different looking Moon Knight, and the question
Yeah,
now
black
is
suit.
black suit, crescents just used in a different innovative way, new weapons,
So
looks
lots
a
of
lot
crescents,
more.
lots of new moon symbols. That's very
Mm,
symbolic.
yeah. Um, and yeah, just looking, could he be maybe an amalgamation of the two fists, Rebecca? Because I'm getting little bits of Hunter's Moon here as well.
I mean, he's buff enough to be Hunter's Moon,
Mm,
right? But it's
yeah,
hard to tell because then you look at Capucci's design sketches and they're much trimmer.
yeah,
So, hey, all bets are off. Everyone guess. I think Marvel
yeah.
said it's not Barda.
Okay,
So, he's
we've
off the
had
table. Mark's off
yeah,
the table.
we've had Randall mentioned. I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, that's we've had so let me see if I can work out the most popular suggestions. Soldier is
Soldier,
very high
yes,
on the
yeah,
list
yeah.
because
Oh, very actually, yeah.
because the costume the design is not on a woman's body.
Mhm.
So that
Yes.
cuts out Reese and Tigra.
Mhm.
Um so we've had Soldier, we've had 8 Ball
8 Ball.
and Randall.
Yeah,
Obviously there are I mean, I don't know, I mean, like, some of them for me are like just throw out names for a laugh.
yeah.
Oh no, sorry. My other joke one was Zodiac. Not entirely a joke.
Zodiac. Okay, yeah.
Like I can make arguments for every single one of those four.
Yeah. I saw
Um,
I saw Jed's response to the 8 Ball one. He just said, "Yep, you solved it. Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. Hands down."
That was
Yeah,
to somebody else who pointed out that if you made circles of all the crescent moons, you could
that's
make
right.
eights out of them.
That's right.
So yeah, it was very funny. But
Yeah.
you know, this is Jed, and how
Mhm.
many times has he surprised us?
That's true, that's
Yeah.
true.
So I mean, I think that's some of the reason for some of the wilder suggestions. Like for
Mhm.
as Mario pointed out, Randall's dead at the moment.
Yep.
He's not the only one to
Yeah.
have pointed it out. Because I think I was saying at the time, well, you know, got City of the Dead, which has just revealed Randall. So theoretically, there could be a way there of dragging him back to life.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
as Mario pointed out, it's like it's not necessarily that the books have worked in tandem. It just seems to me that that's an
Mhm.
interesting timing. So I would allow Randall somehow being back because they do have a
Yeah.
way of doing that. And I've always felt that Randall's very underused or always been used badly
Mhm.
because the whole idea of the sibling rivalry and sort of biblical number of brothers we have, and
Mhm.
you know, all he's ever done is be a complete psychotic hatchet man type thing, and I just feel like there's
Oh, the
a
hatchet's in the
story
photo in
there.
the yeah, the hatchet's in the picture here as well.
I mean, like
Ooh.
I just feel there's stories that could have been told with Randall and Mark that we
Yeah.
never got. But
Mhm.
that's do I really think it's gonna be him? I don't know. I'm kind of at the point where Jed could pick the most off the wall. Like this could be Dark Hawk as far as that. I mean, like you could just pick some really obscure Spider-Man person and
Yeah,
theoretically, I mean, like the argument for Zodiac is that he's mad that somebody else has killed Moon Knight, and
yeah.
once you add that vengeance to the title, then I
Oh,
could
okay,
argue
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
You know, he wants to get him back so he can kill him.
yeah. How about
Kind of joke.
Rebecca,
Yeah.
how about Frenchie? We haven't seen him, maybe just
We
throw in an image.
haven't seen
He was
Frenchie. I mean, like
he was shown in
Ray,
issue
let's
25
do
in the
it.
Karnak Cowboys,
We
yeah?
can argue for yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
yeah.
So my latest bizarre one, my
Yeah,
last bizarre one was the Capuccio cover is called the Foreshadow variant, and it has the whole
okay.
gang around the funeral.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, what if they take it in turns?
Oh, there you
So the
go.
picture we've got is Soldier or 8 Ball, and actually, well, there's also a sort of Reese version, but that's
Oh,
ridiculous. And I
that
just
anything could happen, Rebecca. I've got even one
anything could
better.
happen. Like I mean, like I just all bets are off with Jed, and
Yep.
I'm along for the ride, whatever it is. I think Capucci has done a really cool outfit. I would love to know
He's done an awesome outfit.
where these nasty weapons have come from.
Yeah.
I love that they
Yeah.
have chains around them as well.
Yeah, so you can
Um,
multiple uses.
yeah, they're not boomerangs. They have to be pulled back by chain. Somebody,
uh
who is it? Maybe it was Russell. Somebody
mm,
suggested Punisher. Somebody suggested Frank.
oh, that would be funny. That would be awesome.
Um,
Like that'd be really weird. I don't, he's gone, isn't he? Like, isn't there a new
I don't
Punisher?
know where he's gone, but he's gone. I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
actually read the
Yeah.
end of that bit. I only read the bit that had Moon Knight in it. But
Okay.
he's had a recent interaction with Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's also street level. So I mean, like, everyone go
Yeah.
wild. Send us in your suggestions. Go onto the
The,
Facebook page and come up with like the craziest person it could be,
exactly.
and let's do
We
it.
got Rebecca, the
Let's
mighty
do it.
mailman, the mighty mailman.
Well, you know what? When we were talking about 8 Ball Ray, I
Yeah, yeah.
almost said that could be his sidekick. Thanks.
Exactly. I think we've cracked it. I think we've cracked the code.
Maybe that's why
Yeah,
Jed started laughing when you asked if we'd ever see him again.
yeah, exactly. Nervous laughing, nervous laughter. Um, but anyway, look, the designs look awesome. We are getting a continuation in January. Vengeance of the Moon Knight. It just I don't know if you can pre-order it now, whatever. Just tell your comic book stores that you're on board on this Moon
Yeah.
Knight
I mean,
train.
it was solicited
Um,
in for December, but it's not coming out till
mhm.
January. So
Yeah,
you should be able to let your comic shops know. But if you order online, it's probably not up there yet. So,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
like me, I have to
Um,
keep checking.
so only a smattering, I think, of news left. I think I've only got one more, Rebecca. No, let's skip that one. We'll do that another time. That was a should have skipped that one. Yes, Moon Knight. Did we cover this? I can't remember. We may have.
We
There's
probably did.
okay. I just thought I was trawling through it again, and again we get a retro Hasbro Moon Knight Legends in the old card packaging. Um,
Yeah, it looks pretty
so
cool. It's
yeah,
apparently very well jointed.
yes, more joints than the usual. It looks very similar to the Walmart
It
exclusive
does.
Hasbro.
And it's
Um,
still quite pricey for what it is, I think, but it's cute. I like it. So.
yeah, so it's a good full 6 inches. So
Sorry.
yes, so go get it if you want. It looks really cool. I might. It's not high on my priority list, but
I don't know how gettable it'll be for me, but I will keep an eye out
okay,
for it. And if I can, I might.
yeah,
So
okay, that's cool. Well, so that I think will cover our news for this time being. A little message here from a loony. I don't believe we've heard Thomas Gray. I missed the earlier release, so might need to pick this up.
nice.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Well,
Maybe
it's
that's why. Maybe that's the why it's popped up in the news again.
yeah. Well, they. Oh, so has the re-release of the old Hasbro Legends has that been sold out as well? Because
So
they recently re-released the Marvel Legends, the Declan Shalvey inspired Hasbro figure. So Thomas, if you're talking about that, yeah. Unfortunate that you missed that one, but yeah, definitely look at picking up this retro one. It looks pretty cool.
I
So
think that's pretty cool.
yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, so that I think pretty much wraps up with the news. As Rebecca mentioned, we do have more, but we'll save it for coming episodes. There's no reason why we can't. Rebecca, before we head into our review of issue 27, we might just take a quick short break,
Let's do it.
and yeah, we'll be right back.
Good evening. We bid you welcome and invite you to Taste the Pod of Dracula, the only active Dracula discussion podcast. covering literature's greatest villain through books, movies, comic books, video games, television, and more. The pod is the life. Taste the pod of Dracula. Coming soon.
Yes, welcome back, loonies. Just had a bit of a refresher there. And Rebecca, yeah, we're here for our Moonshine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moon Knight issue 27. So release date September 6th, 2023. So that was a while ago, a couple of weeks ago. Cover date November 2023. Writer Jed MacKay, penciler and inker both Federico Sabatini, colorist Rochelle Rosenberg, letterer VC's Corey Pettit, and editor Tom Brevoort. Now, I did manage to get around to writing a bare bones, Rebecca.
Yes, I see. Do you want me to read it then?
Oh yeah, yes, please.
Okay. So, issue 27. Hunter's Moon and Moon Knight decide to get answers by traversing the mindscape of the recently defeated foe, Vibro. Left in a comatose state after the previous encounter with Hunter's Moon, Vibro lies in hospital bed with both fists of Khonshu at the ready. Harvesting Hawley's sweat, the White Knights dose Vibro, then ingest the liquid themselves in order to create a psychic bridge between their minds and Vibro. Within the hellish arena, both Moon Knight and Hunter's Moon encounter various Vibros and, surprisingly, another persona in the form of Alton. Alton claims to have dropped into Vibro's mind and reveals to the heroes what he knows of Black Spectre's plans. Vibro's internal minions rush the trio and an onslaught ensues, with both Moon Knights caught in the middle. Moon Knight requires some time with Alton alone, so Hunter's Moon accommodates him by taking on an army with his inbuilt allies in the form of the past avatars of Khonshu. Moon Knight tells Alton what he suspected all along, that Alton is the alter ego of Vibro, and is a seed of conscience in Vibro's corrupted mind. Alton bids Moon Knight farewell to take on the army of Vibros as the Moon Knights escape with the valuable information they gained on Black Spectre and his plans. Elsewhere, Black Spectre, Zodiac, and 2 others catch wind of Vibro's activities. They push their plans to destroy the city forward. They decide to strike tonight.
Oh, yes. Thanks, Rebecca. And before we go any further, I want to ask you, have I faffed it? Do we know who those 2 others are, or are they meant to be?
Meant to go look up on the Facebook page if anyone had put them. I didn't go looking, and I only read it once. So I was kind of like, I should probably know who they are, and that's kind of as much as I did.
One of them kind of look like Bushmen. Oh, I'm not sure if that's ever going to be the case,
I
but
mean, did they?
one in
They're all heavily masked.
Oh yeah, well, I mean just the vest. Like, you know how Bushman has that kind of army vest, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a tack wreck.
Yeah. Yeah. The other one I thought was Sarnak, because Sarnak plays a big part in Black
I mean,
Spectre's
possibly.
plan.
Did they not
He's in jail though, right?
jail him? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know. I mean, like, if you know, we've not spent any time looking, and I
no.
apologize for that. And there probably is an answer. So
Yeah. So apologies if we totally have it's totally gone above our heads.
yeah.
But we're gonna continue the discussion based on the fact that we don't know who they are. But please
Yes.
write in, let us know. Rebecca, overall impressions. What did you make of 27? We're edging
I
towards the
really
end.
liked it. I thought it was smart. I thought all the stuff about Hawley's sweat was a little bit okay, but it got you where it needed to be, which is like they both need a way of entering his mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
I thought that was really clever.
Yeah.
just to bring him back. Yeah. I thought it as well. I enjoyed it. I really was impressed with just this different scenario. Like I said, I thought it was really clever bringing Hawley back in because we saw everyone else in issue 25 with that big showdown, and Hawley definitely played a part. I think it was in issue 2, as early as issue 2
Yeah,
of
it was
this
really
run.
early, wasn't it? Yeah.
So again, just using that very disgusting power that he has, because you get
It's
you get
amazing. You're gonna have
where
if
is
you're
it?
gonna have a power, then that someone has to have a good way of using it.
Yeah, I mean, you get Batter putting it through the IV drip there, and you get both of them cheering, cheering with little, I don't know what do you call them, beakers or capsules or something, as they
Yeah, test tubes. Yeah.
test tubes as they guzzle it down. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty. I like the fact also that Mark decides to quickly put on his mask, despite the fact that they're going to a mindscape. He has to.
Mark
He feels.
Mark needs to be protected, especially in mines. So I'm like fine with that.
Yeah, yeah.
The
But yeah,
person who
I was.
put a towel round his head to
Yes.
to have him. It's a bit of comfort for him. He's going to be doing
Okay.
fighting. He wants a bit of a mask, you know.
Well, yeah. Talking about comfort, why don't you just drop his Dax and just start running around in boxer shorts, Rebecca?
Well, you know, I would love that.
um, but yeah, no, I
Doesn't
found this.
happen often enough, in my
It doesn't
opinion.
know. Only twice I count. We got to get more in
Yeah.
there. But yeah, going into the mind of the criminal and just using that as the scenario, I thought was really cool. Alton, I wasn't sure how successful that was as a what do you call it? It's like a red herring almost, or like
Yeah,
a
a red herring. I mean, it wasn't for me because I've been looking up Vibro from last week.
oh yes, and
Um,
you knew his name,
I mean,
yeah.
I've read his appearance in Iron Man, but yeah, because I was reading him last week, I was like, oh yeah,
Mm,
I kind of know who Alton is, you know. But it's
yeah.
still cool. It's still cool to see how it
Oh,
works, you know.
no, it is cool, and I think Jed had kind of concealed it well enough, but I guess
Yeah.
just my always suspicious mind was like, how come this one guy gets dropped in? You know,
Hmm.
and we're talking about and you know we've seen this before with Hawley, like when he took Mark in there, and Moon Knight, and we actually even see Moon Knight's other alters in here as well. So we know that there are other, you know, people in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It was good though. It was really. I liked how he kind of turned on himself,
I
so to
don't.
speak.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if it needed to be a surprise.
Yeah, yeah,
I
you're right.
mean, it was well enough done that if you didn't realize it was cool, but
Yeah,
it wasn't like super unexpected. Like, yeah, I think it would be weirder if it was like somebody totally different in your mind. Like, you'll be like,
yeah.
oh my god, what's going on?
um, but the one of the main things here, and apart from the gorgeous art by Sabatini, as always, with the colors by Rochelle Rosenberg, one of the main things here, Rebecca, was the exposition, I guess, of I was just trying to find it here of Black Spectre's plans.
Hmm.
And Alton is the one that actually gives it.
Yeah, and that's kind of cool. I mean, I do like all the art in this, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
Just
Yeah,
looking at some of the sort of point work, and this is really cool.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Alton knows the plan, which essentially is Black Spectre not only, I know, wreaking revenge on Moon Knight, but he's got plans against Manhattan. He wants to
Yeah,
really mess it up.
he
Um,
really wants to go for the city.
yeah, and again, it all bleeds into the previous. We spoke to Jed about Commodore Planet, the Moloids under the Earth. There's an idea there to essentially, I think, as Jed calls it, he turn Manhattan into a tuning fork. And then what happens is because Vibro knows geology, he mentions here. And then one of Black Spectre's other minions, Sarnak, who we've met before with the sound, he's basically going to turn Manhattan crazy. So to get people to, similar to, it reminded me of, is it Devil's Reign, Allison?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, Devil's Reign, where people went a bit crazy. So that's a level of diabolic diabolical plans, the planning that Black Spectre has. So, yeah, that was a main thing that we got from Alton, and then of course, yeah, Rebecca, as you're saying, the reveal that he is actually Vibro. Yeah, the art was good. It was good to see the Moon Knights in action as well. Again, love to see another, I guess, another reiteration of Hunter's Moon and his new ability. So there's a moment here when Moon Knight, they're kind of their backs against the wall and they have to climb a cliff, and Moon Knight's asking Hunter's Moon to kind of take on all the Vibros by himself. And again,
he's like, yeah, okay.
yeah, yeah. Well, I like it because it's another reminder that, because he's mentioned it before, that they're never really alone. They have their own, they have the legacy, the
I love
chorus.
the way he phrases it. Like, we're never really alone, and it's just it's very nice. It's very I think it's pretty clever how it all works.
Yeah, I mean, we also know it's a little bit of a risk because of the problems Hunter's Moon has had with calling on the his brothers and sisters and siblings. So in this instance, when he calls them all out, we can see the first, which is kind of slowly taking over Hunter's Moon. I'd love to see a bit more development of that in later
Right?
issues.
Yeah.
Of him kind of succumbing almost to that. Pretty cool. You see almost the zombie like Moon Knights that we saw when they all battled Zodiac towards
Yeah,
the
we
end
get to
of
see them again, which is always nice.
yeah. So that was cool. I mean, so the action I think was really good here, but I think Jed really balances it well with finding out this information and basically taking Alton aside and having him kind of reveal. Well, Moon Knight reveals, what the truth is. What did you think of the altars being used here,
Yeah, so
Rebecca?
I think that's quite interesting because you're in someone's mind. I mean, I always like seeing them because it's a nice reminder that that's what makes him very different.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I liked it. I like Jake having having a lot to say.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was good. It's a nice touch. It's always good to see them, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really good, and yeah, I can see why Alton then turns again. I'll be interested to see what happens to Vibro with this kind of struggle internally
Yeah.
now. Whether Alton gets overwhelmed and you just have a fully corrupt Vibro now. But it's good to see that there's a little bit of resistance with Alton, and he actually asks the Moon Knights to go, and he'll take on as they climb
Yeah,
out
I'd
of
like to
the
think that
thing.
he's fine. I'd like to think that he's all right. He can do this.
Yeah, well, yeah, you'd hope that he's redeemed somehow.
Mhm.
We've got an army of angry vibros coming towards him, so so his chances are hopefully he's got a chance. We'll have to see. So yeah, and yeah, I mean, of course, and the final, the little epilogue at the end, Rebecca, we speculated, Black Spectre looking very garish here. I
Mhm.
do kind of like the design. It's a lot more, I don't know, horror tinged
Yeah.
than just the knight armor. But yeah, so we have Zodiac, Black Spectre, and then we have two people kind of we don't know. And then there are like some
Somebody
Rorschach
knows, just
tests.
not us. Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
Rorschach tests down there, which is kind of fun.
Is there a clue there, Rebecca? I'm just having a look. Is there some sort
Probably.
of yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
But I would be terrified to try and work it out. They're Rorschach tests.
Yeah, so essentially that is the issue as well. Just obviously just really good art as usual, and I think the pacing worked really well too. Um,
Mm.
yeah. Any other thoughts you want to bring to
No,
this,
I'm
Rebecca?
looking forward to the next one. I mean, I kind of want the stuff. I know we're supposed to be terrified of this kind of building up to the thing, but I'm excited about it. I want to see what
Me,
happens.
me too. Absolutely. I just want to see kind of how it all unfolds.
Yeah, yeah, I want to see what's going on, and
Yeah.
who everyone is, and so I'm just
I've got to
excited.
say, I've got to also mention, Rebecca, I'm kind of thankful there's no gods reference here. Like last time, um,
Yeah, we
back at
got
the
the
hospital
worst
bed
gods
here.
reference.
Y
Where's the button saying beep all the time now?
yeah, yeah.
What's happened to it?
So we got Vibro here and in the bed, and we got the 2 Moon Knights looking at him, but I don't see any beeping there anymore, so,
Yeah, so that's
something's
strange, isn't
happened.
it?
Yeah. Look, I read, I'm catching up on my comics now. I read the Fantastic Four issues, almost up to
Uh-huh.
date, and they have a gods, reference there. It's a lot more substantial, but I'm
Yeah,
a
I
little
don't know
bit
which
lost
one
still.
I read
Yeah.
another one that had a more substantial one, and it was pretty cool, and I was like, we
Yeah.
literally just got beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, exactly. I
It's
know.
hilarious, but okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess they ticked that box there, so that's good. Um, yeah, so, using the Konishu rating system, Rebecca, what would you give this one? I should mention it's called Journey to the Center of the Mind, issue 27.
I gave it 7.5. I mean, it's
Mhm.
pretty good, but
Pretty
would
good.
I point it out as an outstanding one? No, but it was good, and I'm enjoying it, and it was a diversion that was necessary for a piece of information, so it
Mhm.
didn't feel too much like a diversion. So I liked all of that. So
Okay. Yeah, I gave it the same 7.5, a three-quarter moon, I guess, somewhere between a solid round boy and a big, beautiful yellow man. Yeah, I thought I was comparing it to some of Jed's earlier issues where there were issues, I can't remember the numbers, but they were Hunter Moon centric with, the Nemean lion
oh
and
yeah, yeah.
there were just something a little bit more apparent in those issues with jumping between like action in the background and then exposition, and it was a little bit too, I guess, disparate, whereas I think this one worked a lot better, with they're actually in the action, but there's some times where they get to pull aside and actually talk and speak to Alton, and then there are times when they fight, and I found it uh, a little bit more seamless than some of Jed's earlier issues, where I think he kind of worked on the same format as well. So giving that a bit more points for that. And look, the art is great. Capuccio and Sabatini are doing great work. Richelle Rosenberg, always great work. So I loved it and loved the callbacks to Hawley as well. Some of the classic villains from this run. So I think it's a smart little issue, and it was a bit of a risk. Like basically, it's centered around Vibro, who we've only ever seen really in one issue before, and
Yeah.
unless you're an Iron Man fan
And
or
even then, you've not seen him much. I mean, it's not like he's
yeah,
a massive Iron Man villain. It's just like tiny.
yeah,
So, yeah, it's just, I like that there is that. It's not necessarily, there is no sense of urgency. Like, I don't feel like we're trying to
mm,
wrap this up too quickly, in that we
yeah,
can take this side thing just to find out
yeah,
the enormity of what Black Spectre's trying to doing. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Like, we have like 3 more
yeah,
issues, which is kind of terrifying in a way,
exactly,
but you know.
yeah. Well, Jed certainly does, I guess, ramp it up at the very last page where Black Spectre says, "Okay, we strike tonight." So that gives you that sense of, oh my god,
Mm.
their plans. Okay,
Yeah,
it's
now
gonna
we have the
happen.
ramp up. So like, it's gonna be interesting what happens with the next issues, because it's like now it has to
Yeah.
ramp up, but we also know it's gonna ramp up to presumably Mark's death. Well, I mean, we
Yes.
may as well say it is, and then if we're wrong, we're wrong.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I don't know what else they could mean after all this advertising on it. So
Yeah, look, I could, yeah, and I could be totally wrong as well. I'm projecting because we've got 3 issues left. I'm projecting the massive, like most of the action will happen in 29, and I think maybe the ramifications and like maybe the slight aftermath will happen in 30. So yeah, 28. So we got 3 issues still, like, and so there's a lot of space for Jed to really
I
flesh out this
suspect
big
so,
finale.
although I think
Mm,
given that we know we've got vengeance, we could have a massive, it
true.
could be that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we actually go to 30 this time for the real finish. I mean, not the
Yeah.
real finish, the climax
Yes.
of the, I mean, the actual death. Um
Because Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, just because with that last statement of this one, it just seems like the green button has been pushed,
Yeah,
so we have three
there's
issues.
only so
Yeah,
much time they've got now, so
yeah. Unless Jed then takes another, I guess, detour, and I don't know,
who
maybe we
knows?
look
I mean,
into
it's exciting.
because I mean we're still like for all intents, Plesko is still dead, right? Or we all speculated that he is
Maybe he's the
somehow,
other guy in the room.
yeah. So
No, somebody will go to Facebook and somebody will have said, "These are two really obvious people you should have
yeah, oh
thought
yeah,
of."
yeah. What are you? Yeah, what are
It
you guys?
happens all the time. Like we're
Yeah,
fine. We're
yeah,
fine
yeah.
getting things wrong. You don't
Yeah,
listen to us to be right all the time. You
why have
know,
the high priests built their whole episode around
we're
those two?
human. We're fallible.
um, so Loonies, yeah, definitely worth checking out. I mean, our scores say it 7.5 average for issue 27. It's really heading towards something special. So can't wait for it. And of course, the big news of Vengeance of the Moon Knight. There's also another little discussion in Discord, Rebecca, about I think about how you catalog and the next issue. I think someone said
Yeah.
it's
How do you
volume
put that in your
2.
collection? Because it's a
Yeah.
volume 2 of Jed's, really.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it's got a
volume 2
different
of Vengeance
title.
of the Moon.
Or is it?
I
Yeah,
mean,
volume 2 of Avengers of the Moon Knight. Also,
yeah.
volume 2 of Jed's run. So, like, how do
Just
you
on,
handle that
yes.
if you're putting them all in order? So, I'll give you my
Or
librarian view another time. But uh,
yeah.
I
So
think
yeah.
Marvel liked reusing titles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got no problems with hearing
No,
Vengeance of the
this
Moon
one
Knight
works
as well. So,
particularly well as well.
and
Like
it's
it
just
works
I
very
can't.
well. Like our Moon Knight's dead. There's
Yeah.
someone taking vengeance for that, who's a new Moon Knight. It's very nice.
Yeah, and I just can't shake the feeling that that's a clue, as you kind of alluded to before, Rebecca, and as to who. But you're right. Maybe there's. I mean, there are a lot of people that could, you know, um,
There's just so many, and it's just like
revenge and vengeance. Yeah.
I feel like I've stopped guessing since we got Jed, because
Mm,
any guess I make is kind of like semi jokey, because like
yeah.
I'd be fine with any of them, but
Yeah.
it could be any of them because
Yeah.
it's just you
And
know
I just want to say as well, Jed was playing it very coy and he is very wily. When we did chat with him again, and he did mention that there was a big announcement coming up. I mean, who knew? But he obviously
yeah,
was
we didn't know it
alluding.
was gonna be
Yeah,
a Moon Knight, so
that's
that was
so
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so a big thanks to Jed. But yeah, Rebecca, that pretty much wraps us for this episode. Next phase, listeners, just keep an eye out on our social media platforms. Again, we are now on Blue Sky as well, so you can interact with us over there. And depending on the moon phase, I'll have to go consult Khonshu. We'll work on that. Rebecca, you did mention next week, though, is the release of City of the Dead, issue 3. But I know, Rebecca, you'll be unavailable, so maybe we can hold off on that, or maybe I can
Yeah,
uh,
see
do
who's
another
around.
episode. Yeah. But we'll see. I'd love to be able to chat with you about it.
I'll tell you my views of it whenever I speak to you next. So
Okay.
I'm not too worried about it. Like I'd rather it's your call.
Okay.
But yeah, next week's gonna be very hard for me. So
Yeah, which is totally understandable.
yeah.
Um, busy stuff. Spectacle. I just wanted to shout out a few things, Rebecca, before we go. The latest issue. These are just basically, self-indulgent promos. So, the latest episode of To Know Her Is to Fear Her. Spider Woman just recorded it, so it will be out soon. And Sarah and I cover the classic issue, Volume 1, issue 5. So that was a lot of fun. So keep your eye out for that. And the next upcoming Predator and Prey podcast, where Justin, Sparky, and myself, we talk actually about a fan film of Predator, Dark Ages, which was made, I think, almost 10 years ago. It was a long time ago.
Wow.
It was really good. It was a Kickstarter, apparently, Rebecca. And so,
Interesting.
yeah, it looks pretty good. Like, for a fan film, it was like really well done. So that was a nice little 27-minute short film to wet any Predator fans' whistle. Finally, as well, just in my, again, self-indulgent game playing, I've been introduced to Marvel Legendary. I'm loving
Nice.
that as well. And there's an expansion, Paint the Town Red, and I was fortunate enough to get that when I purchased the core set, and it has both Moon Knight and Spider-Woman in it. So
Nice.
yeah, really cool. So expect to play through at some point when I get a camera. I'm gonna thrust it
Awesome.
upon you, listeners, or at least, at the very least, the Patroonies. So I can't wait to show you Moon Knight in that game. Rebecca,
That's
any
awesome.
yeah, it's have you played Legendary or
No, I've been playing
no?
Baldur's Gate 3. I'm lost in Baldur's Gate 3 for the foreseeable future.
Oh,
I
I
was
heard there
playing
was
it
like
just before I logged on. I'll be playing it again.
it's really good. Is it? I heard, aren't there like long stints or something? Like
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
that sense.
yeah.
Yeah. Is it really hard? Is it or?
No, it's just there's just so many things to do.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah,
I think I've heard Connor talk about it, and I've heard yourself and
yeah.
some other gamers. Yeah, so that sounds cool. But
Mhm.
any spectacles you'd like to give mention to?
We're plowing ahead with the DCAU podcast. That's mostly what I've been doing.
Lovely. Mm-hmm.
A couple of we just did Long Halloween, just recorded Long Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Before that was like Batman Soul of the Dragon. And for that, Death of the Family. So like Death of the Family, Death in the Family, whichever one the Jason Todd horrific one is. So that's kind of plodding along. So
Okay, nice
yeah.
one. So go check it out. Or be in the show notes, of course, Loonies. And speaking of which, you can catch us anywhere. I've got to update this as well, Rebecca. Email feedback at feedback at itkmoonnight.com. We're on the website as well, itkmoonnight.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. X,
I just call it Twitter.
Instagram, YouTube. We're on Discord, and we're also on Blue Sky. The important thing to remember is the handle ITK Moon Knight. It should be able to get you there. Just go look it up, and should lead you to the right place.
Awesome.
A big final thank you to all our patroonies as well. Please consider becoming a patroonie. Thank you to Odin, Frank, Daniel, Mario, Justin, Derek, Wayne, Josh, Anthony, Russell, Michael, Drew, Matthew, Jonathan, and Dan. And patreon.com/ITK Moon Knight was the place to go if you want to check out all bonus incentives, early access, behind the scenes footage. I don't know what else. Bonus app. Yeah, did I say that?
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
really good.
well,
It's worth it. Yeah,
yeah, well worth it, and we thank you profusely for all the support
definitely.
as well. Well, that's it from us, Rebecca. I can't wait. I hope you don't get too overwhelmed with work in the next coming week.
No, yeah, it's just it's Wednesday onwards, so it's gonna be like this kind of chaotic, and then get to the weekend and just relax.
Yeah, good. Well, hope you get to read a lot more. Hope you get to play Baldur's Gate. Hope you get to watch some. Are there any good movies out?
I want to watch Elemental on Disney
Oh
Plus.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's the
that's the
nice one.
plan. Yeah.
I think Finn really wants to watch Blue Beetle, so I've got to take him to
Oh,
that.
bless him. I quite like to
Yeah.
see that, to be honest. So
Okay, I was about to ask you if it's appropriate for his age, but yeah,
I
you haven't
don't
seen it?
know.
No, okay.
I mean, he probably won't notice any bits he doesn't.
Okay, hope so. Don't want to traumatize him.
I don't think.
Anyway,
Well, yeah, I don't know.
don't want like any
um,
flying limbs or anyway.
yeah, like Shazam, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. The holes in the torso, Oh my
Yeah.
god. Yeah. Anyway, Loonies, thank you once again, and as always, may Conchu watch over the denizens of the night. Catch you later.
Take care. Bye.